Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy holidays. Um, Here we're looking at the redfin borlei cadango. These are all males. But I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in here. We started a little later today. I had to run some errands. I was on the road, uh, dropping off some fish to a customer and picking up some supplies. So we had a little late start today. So hello Kim, happy holidays. Hello Chevy. We appreciate you guys always being on. Hope you guys have a happy and safe holiday. Hello, Jim. So today we're going to look at some fish that we normally don't look at. Before we started today, I was walking through the warehouse. I saw some fish and I thought that we should just cover some of those other fish. And also I'm going to talk about shipping. We are not going to be shipping your orders until January 6th. You can still place your orders. We're going to be working really hard on updating inventory and just cleaning tanks, cleaning the farm, the whole warehouse, the greenhouses. We're going to take that time to kind of catch up on some stuff and really just for the safety of the fish. UPS, you know, this time of year gets really backed up with the holidays, so and it's really cold in a lot of places, so to avoid any potential issues, we just decided to take that time off this year. And so yeah, you guys can still place your orders and we are going to ship them in the order in which we receive them, like always. So if you place an order today, you'll be at the front of the line. And if you place an order on the 5th, right before we start shipping, or the 4th, right before we start shipping again, well then you'll probably be towards the end of the line and you might not ship right away. So if you are eyeballing any fish, feel free to place that order and we'll ship it to you as soon as we can. If there's any issues with potential dates where you might not be in town or something like that, you guys can always email us, request a specific date, be shipped, and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Holly, we will still be doing pickups, so if you are local, feel free to place your orders and choose local pickup, and we'll have them ready for you. So yeah, these for anybody who didn't see, these are the redfin borlei cadango. We're gonna go look at some other fish. If you have any requests, feel free to make them, but I am going to try to point out some fish that we don't look at too often. So we're probably going to look at some Tanganyikans. We're going to look at maybe some Victorians, maybe some live bears. I did see, right before we started, I know I covered them last time, we'll go look at them. The Gelchromis blue tipped. I did see a male in the tank. He was really colored up. So we're going to try to look at him. I'm going to try to sneak up. So yeah, it's this tank right here. A couple of the males were like jet black a few minutes ago when I walked by, but this is a fish that tends to turn their colors off when we walk up on the tank. And right away you can already see they're starting to go in the back. There's a couple males in the back there that they're kind of still dark, but I'm talking when I walked by earlier they were jet black. But unfortunately, as soon as I stick the camera up against the tank, they just lose all that intensity. Lynx. We do have some gold we have some orange lasers. We don't have any gold lasers in that I think. The orange lasers, I believe, are not for sale. I think we're saving those for breeders. We didn't get that many. Yeah, there's just a handful of them in here. They just all darted underneath this palm frond. Let's see. Jim, we can. Are you talking about? Are there going to be some available, or are you talking about? Do you want to look at some today? Because we could do both. Now availability, I'm not too sure. We're always bringing in fish and sorting fish from our ponds. So if they're not on the website, that's hard to say when they'll be back. Because even in this cold weather, we're still seining in the ponds, bringing the fish in. Whether we have greenhouse plastic over the ponds to keep them warm or not, we're still jumping in there, getting muddy, bringing the fish in. So that's something that's just always going to be a constant. The problem with the Africans is that they're just so popular at that 3 to 4 inch male size that as soon as we have them available, they just fly out the door. These are the fire ant tetras. Now these are a new one for us. Now these guys look like, as they get larger, they might be a little nippy. So I recommend, if you are getting these, to get a nice group of them. I would say 10, 15. The more you get, the better. And the better they look, the more natural behavior you're gonna get. But looking at pictures of these guys as adults, they look really cool and not very commonly seen. This is one of those long-tail spatula whiptails. This guy is the perfect example of a whiptail. Look at how long his tail just keeps going. It's really cool. It's probably 8 to 10 inch trailer on this fish here, and that's not an exaggeration. That's pretty cool. So let's go look at a couple of other fish I wanted to kind of highlight today. I was looking at them. We recently we had a Christmas party yesterday on the farm, and a couple of the gifts that were given away were gift cards to Imperial Tropicals for the employees to use, and that got me really starting to look at some fish because luckily I was fortunate enough to win a gift card to the store, and I was like, I was kind of building the tank in my head because all my tanks at home are currently stocked. I was like, man, if I was going to start another tank, what would I do? And right away, I couldn't stop thinking about these guys. These are the Lamprologus meligres. So they're a nice little shell dweller. And you can just see kind of how they're protecting their shells. They're sassy little guys. We've had them here in the past, and they do tend to breed relatively easy in our hard water, given the correct water parameters. These guys are really hardy. But so I just wanted to highlight these guys, and you could see they got like blue in their eyes. They tend to have a couple different colors, where the darker ones here protecting the shell, and the lighter ones that might be indicative of male, female. So I was checking those out. I figured, hey, those are pretty cool. Might be a nice fish for a bottom fish for a Tanganyika tank. And then I was looking at these guys. I'm unsure if these guys are up. These are rare. These guys get big. So I wasn't considering these for the same tank, but I just wanted to highlight these. These are the Petrochromis travases. Now these are F1s. The parents were wild caught, and these guys are really cool. They're kind of like a Du Bois, but on steroids. They get a lot bigger. They have similar diet, similar behavior, similar color pattern. But very cool fish, not very commonly seen. They take a long time to get to their like full size. I believe they get around 8 to 10 inches. I could be off on that, but these guys are super interesting. And then there's another Tanganyikan over here, and that is the Gelchromis Reagani Midnights. So these are the black Gelchromis. You can see how dark they are. These guys are really cool. Or the other option to a different Gelchromis is on the other side of this rack, where you get a brighter yellow color, which is more typical. So let's come over here. And you can see, guys, we're in the process. Well, some of us are. I'm not. I don't take care of these tanks, but we're in the process of doing a lot of water changes. So I saw these today, and I was eyeballing these. These are the Gelchromis ornatus uvira. So that's a catch location. You can see there's a few in here that are really starting to turn yellow. Like, you're getting a pretty good yellow, bright yellow on them. Right up front here. Let's get him on camera. So these guys are really cool. This would make a nice tank mate to go with those the Meligrees that I was looking at earlier. So I'm getting excited. I'm thinking about building another tank, and I think those would be some cool options for you guys to look into as well. Of course, we always have the Blue-Faced Princess. These guys are great. Not overly aggressive, but they do stand their own. So typically they do well in a mixed Tanganyikan tank. Hello, Adam. Happy Friday. Happy holidays. And guys, if you haven't noticed, pay attention to the comments. We have Carly in the office. She likes to drop facts about the fish we're talking about and answer your questions if I can't, or maybe a little bit more thoroughly than I can just off the top of my head. So give Carly a shout out and pay attention. If you guys have any questions or you want to see some maybe more interesting facts about some of the fish that I'm showing or talking about, they'll most likely be in the comments. Up here we have the bright yellow, the Lulupi. Another classic. Now check this guy out. He's a big boy. I believe I showed some of these last week, but these are the Festes, the Cyclosoma Feste or Meso Heros Feste, red terrors. What an awesome fish. Really beautiful. And there's another nice big fish over here I want to show. Last week I tried showing him and he was just hiding. It's going to be over here. You can see him up front there. This is the Meso Heros ornatus. So this is a really nice fish. He's really big, full size. I really like the trailers on this guy. And I also really like, you can't really see it in the camera too much. I'm trying to get the tail. In the tail, there's a lot of like, really like, there's a red in there. So in his tail back here, there's red. Pretty interesting. And then here's another one over here. So beautiful fish. Those are the Meso Heros ornatus. If you guys like coolie loaches, check out this pile. They're going to town on some Rapashi. So if you guys like coolie loaches, give this video a thumbs up, because we got lots of coolie loaches. We got a couple piles of Rapashi, a couple piles of coolie loaches. And you can see here, they love going in these little huts, these cichlid huts. So it makes it really easy for us to catch them because they are very squirmy and they tend to be kind of hard to catch. They're kind of hard to get individuals out of a net. So what we do is typically we have a nice piece of decoration where they can swim into, and then we can grab that decoration and dump the water into a net. So let's look at some live bears. We don't do this very often. Here are some neon swordtails. Chevy calls them water spaghetti. That's really funny, Chevy. I like that term. So those are the neon swordtails. Down here we have a newer one to us, and I really like these guys. In the camera, these guys are showing up more orange than they actually are. These guys are pretty red in coloration. So we got these are the red calico platies. Davo, you can always go back and watch the video. I appreciate you making it, man. If you were ever to order an assorted swordtail pack from us, here's a good example. Here's a tank set up in our warehouse. Here's just some of the fish that are in there right now. We have there's some black swordtails in there. There's some tuxedo. I see some neon swords, some brick swords, green swords. So you have a pretty large variety of colors you can get if you did order a mixed pack. And it looks like there's even some koi in there. So there is a koi, which isn't super common, but it's cool. And here's just the throw off. So she is just a different color. So that's just a good example of some stuff you might receive. And here is an assorted Molly package. So we got creamsicles. I see Dalmatians. I see a couple marbles. Let's see. Kim asked a good question. She said, what tank mates go with turquoise rainbows? So you could do another species of rainbows unless you're trying to breed them. So any type of rainbow, unless you're trying to breed. I've done and I've seen many people do in the past things like roseline sharks. I've seen people do things like the red tail sharks and rainbow sharks. They seem to do well together. I've seen, and personally I have done angelfish, and they did really well together. You could always do some smaller fish like cories on the bottom. You can do like a pistos, as long as your water isn't too hard for the pistos. So there's a lot of options. They're pretty boisterous. They do well with a lot of things. Definitely would not ever in a million years recommend keeping them with any sort of larger cichlid like Africans, just due to aggression. Here are the Kohaku swords. Now these are really nice. Really good color on these guys. And let's see what else we have. Here's some green swords. And we don't have much here. Here's a little bumblebee platy. Now these guys are a classic for us here. We've had these forever. So just a little yellow and black platy. They're cute little guys. Now the plants with the CO2 have been doing really good. We've seen amazing results. So we're gonna start to try new types of plants slowly. Getting them in inventory and everything can take a minute, but we are trying out new plants. So hopefully soon, for my plant keepers out there like myself, we'll have a lot more options. The only issue is we don't have a lot of planted tanks. So currently we have 9 of them. Traditionally, we didn't keep them overly stocked, and we always had issues with different types of algae. But now with the CO2, we are going to start to try and branch out, try new things, because we've seen such good results. It's just something we haven't made the jump to for years, and when we finally did, we just saw really good results. Look at this Episto here, guys. He's in here. He's on scud maintenance duty, but he's really nice. Let's see what else we have, guys. There is something we don't talk about too much on the live stream either, are the rabbit snails. So here is a tank with some Tuluti white spotted rabbit snails. Let's see if we can get, you see a couple babies, well, one baby crawling up on the parents there, and then there are some other snails in here, but let me see if I can get the shell. So the shells are pretty cool. I really like these guys. They are larger, and they're not going to overpopulate your tank too quickly. They reproduce rather slowly. I believe they give birth to one baby at a time, which is pretty cool. So they're not going to overpopulate. There's a baby right there. Oh, lost focus. Really nice snail. And then we also have the yellow spotted Tuluti snail, which are very similar, except for the spots on the body are yellow instead of white. And just due to the position of all these snails right now, can't really see the spots on them. Here is one of my favorite current guppies that we keep. These are the platinum ribbon guppies. So you can just see the really long ribbons on these males. This is something we've been trying to selectively breed and get them even longer. Now, in some cases, it can become an issue where the ribbons are just so long that they do have trouble breeding. So that's just something that we've seen, but not with these. These guys have been fine. Really beautiful long ribbon fins here. Now these are all males, and you can see they got really big fins too. They almost have like Dumbo fins, so that's nice. Then we have the Israeli Japanese blue gold leertail guppies. These guys are cool color, nice bright blue, kind of like a baby blue with the yellow half on like their yellow head. They look really nice. Nearite snails, we have plenty of them. They're all up on the glass. So we have the zebra nearites. We have the batik, which are my personal favorite. The pattern's just kind of varied from snail to snail. We have larger type snails too, like the magenta mystery snails. Let's get this guy in camera. He's crawling across. Oh, he just let go of the glass. He's floating down. The mystery snails are really fun. They're always super active. They're always just up to something, crawling around looking for food. These guys are really cool. I see there is some talk about betas in the chat here, guys. That's something we've carried before. I know nobody's asking about buying them, but we've carried betas before. We don't carry them anymore, or too often, I should say. It's not to say we're never going to do it again, but it's hard because each beta is its own individual fish, its own individual color, and everybody wants to hand select a very specific beta. Nobody wants to just buy a generic beta, so it's really difficult to stay on top of trying to photograph individual betas, and so that's just something we don't carry very often. But I do see in the comments everyone's talking about how betas, they do like to rest. They like larger leaf plants, things like Anubias or larger leaf. I can't even think of any right now, but there's anything with like large broad leaves they like. They sell beta hammocks you could put in your aquarium as well. They sell floating logs for the betas to swim into. The problem is a lot of betas in the hobby have been line bred for so long, they have large fins, and they tire out really easy. They spend a lot of energy just trying to swim around. So when you get some of those longer, larger fin betas, they are not as hardy because they have to use so much energy just trying to stay afloat and swimming around. You got the panda angelfish here. I really like the pandas, nice white and black. They contrast to each other. And then I like it when they have the red eye. So you have a white and black angel with red eye. It's really cool to me. But not all of them have it. Some are, like some of them have yellow in their eyes, more kind of koi pattern. And some of them are just black. So it's pretty cool. So, guys, is there any other fish anybody wants to see? We only have a few minutes left, and I want everybody to get a chance. Just as a reminder, we won't be shipping until January 5th, I believe, is our first day. So you won't get your fish until January 6th. So just keep that in mind, but you can do local pickups. You can still place your order. We're using this time to catch up on everything, and it's mostly for the safety of the fish, because everybody knows this time of year postal services are typically really backed up. So Chevy wants to see some Superchromis as usual. Yeah, we can do that. I did see one tank that was just absolutely loaded. It might be the same tank we always look at. They're one of our better breeders on Superchromis. And I believe it's the Utinta. Yep, so it's the Superchromis Leptosoma Utinta. They just got a water change, so the water is a little cloudy. None of them are showing that blue coloration yet. Oh, there's a couple. There's one right there. He's kind of blue, but overall, this size, they don't show a ton of color, unless it's like first thing in the morning, or right when they're about to eat, or right if they're trying to spawn. So at this size, they're not really spawning yet. So, and it's not the morning for them. The lights have been on, so typically they're just kind of in their regular color mode, and then as they grow, and even sometimes in the morning, you'll really see them colored up. But love Superchromis, they're really cool fish. Let's see. So Brian got his fish this week. He's got electric blue acara, rainbow cichlids, nicaraguensis, firemouth, all healthy, but they're still a little finicky. Yeah. So guys, when you do get your fish in from an order, if you don't have a quarantine tank, or even if you do, something I always try to recommend is maybe having the lights off for more often until they start to get used to you. It's going to help reduce stress for the fish because they're going through a giant change. Here's a bunch of spheni. So here is our #1 selling fish, guys, the Geophagus spheni. These guys are mostly 3 to 4 inches. There are, yeah, I think these are all right in that 3 to 4 inch range. You can just see why they sell so well. They just like, the light hits them and they just glisten. They have a lot of personality. Every time I raise my hand up, they shoot towards the top, thinking I'm about to feed them. So like, look at that. They're very responsive. They love to eat. It's pretty crazy to me. I've noticed that these guys is typically, you know, Geophagus, they are sand sifters, but these guys don't waste any time. They don't let the food ever touch the bottom of the tank. They just start going at it. So they don't care if it's in the water column, if it's on the bottom. They just go crazy for it. But yeah, these guys have been really popular in the hobby lately, and I definitely see why. They get about, all the research says they get about 8 inches, I believe, but we have some here that are older breeders, and they're 10 to 12 inches. So fish, I think they always can just keep growing, but they grow down. They really slow down on that growth as they reach that max potential size. Like, everything has that max potential size, but as they near that, they really slow down. So typically 8 inches is about it for these guys. And it looks like we still have some red spotted Severums left, and unless they just haven't shipped yet. But these guys are really nice. Try to get some in focus. They just don't want to stop moving. And then we got some green Texas, or the Parichthes carpintus. Another really pretty fish, but they can be very aggressive, so just keep that in mind. And they get pretty large. We have some chocolate cichlids. There's some bigger ones in here. These guys are 3 to 4 inches as well. Congo Tetras, Adam. I'm unsure if we have any Congo Tetras. Oh, here we go. Carly to the rescue. I do know we have the yellows. I didn't know if we had the regulars, so we'll go look at some Congos. And then we'll look at the yellows, and then we're going to get out of here for today. So the Congo Tetras, right now they are pretty small. They are 1.5 to 2 inches, so you're not seeing any of those nice long fins yet. I do see a couple males and a couple females, so we got a good mix. And then we'll swing around and look at the yellow Congo Tetras, which are looking really good right now. They got some size to them. They do have some good coloration. So before we walk up there, we'll look at them from back here. And here are the yellow Congos. So yeah, they look really good. So guys, let me turn you around. That's gonna be it. Sorry guys, having trouble there. That's gonna be it for today. Christmas is right around the corner for everybody who celebrates, so if you do, happy holidays. And if not, happy holidays as well, doesn't matter. We just want to remind you, shipping resumes on the 5th, January 5th. So if you make an order, it's just going to be a little delayed. and that's just due to safety of the fish, and because UPS, the post office, everybody gets backed up, everybody's traveling, roads are backed up, weather's bad. So just to avoid any potential issues, we're going to do that. And just want to really say thank you guys, and we will see you next Friday. So later.